Hey there, Papa G here again today with something a little different. So last night there was a fire right outside my apartment. I didn't realize it until my power went off. I actually heard all the sirens and crap going off, but I wasn't really paying attention. So when my power went off, I noticed that my curtains were orange. And I thought, holy cow, am I on fire again? Because I did have a fire at my place quite a few years ago. And so I looked out the window, and at first I thought that white building there, that's a church. I thought for sure that that thing was on fire. And as I looked, I noticed it was the place back behind it, which is they clean containers for shipping. I don't know if many of you know it. I'm sure some of you do if you work in a factory. Those big knockdown plastic containers that they put product in, they clean them there and then they ship them out so they can be reused. And everything that was stored outside there, they weren't cleaned yet. They were full of cardboard and whatnot, all those dividers and everything. That so basically it makes good kindling. And if you forgive the crappy footage, because that camera I was using was horrible. I didn't realize it took that bad a video. I hardly ever used it before. So I grabbed my camera and started taking footage of it. Now I do have some footage, very small amount of footage of with my Canon 60D, which I'm going to place in here also. What I'm doing is I'm actually looking at this video and talking about it. I took the sound out because there's a lot of people talking in the background, and there's just some things that are being said that doesn't necessarily need to be, I guess, broadcasted. You know how people are. Anyways, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this, basically this first clip here. It spread really, really fast. It started at the front there, which is to the left, and shot across to the right. And as you can see, there's an old water tower right there. Now that thing's out of commission. It doesn't even have water in it, but it shoots toward that way. As you can see, as it's going right there, it's more plastic containers. I don't know if you can see it. I know what I'm looking at. There are metal containers that's kind of acting as a barrier, but eventually this fire jumps over to there. Now it was really pretty warm, not too bad, but it was pretty warm from standing at my apartment there. But as you could tell it was dissipating, and man, that's some crappy footage. Oh well. But it started dissipating until it got toward the back there. Now I do have some footage of it toward the back there, but I think what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to switch to another view, or with my other camera, so you can see what that looks like. We'll get this done here in just a second. Now, like I said, I'm looking at the footage as I'm talking here, because I took out the other sound. Now that right there, I didn't have any power, and that's one of the power lines right there. Matter of fact, I forgot about this shot. You're going to see them spray that here in just a second as I zoom in on it, and there they go. They're spraying that sucker, trying to get that out. Now that stays smoldering the rest of the night, but several fire departments came in and to help, and I wish I'd have got footage of the ladder trucks that came in later on. I thought about getting footage of it, but I just didn't do it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to some other footage and have you check that out. Now what you're going to see here is from my Canon 60D. The footage is a hell of a lot better looking. I wish I realized that when I was doing it, and I'd have just stayed on this camera instead. But I was switching back and forth, so there's very little footage with the Canon 60. There's this and a few seconds more with the Canon 60. I wish I'd have stayed on this because it does do a hell of a lot better at taking footage, and the color is a lot more vibrant. I guess it's time to hang up that old handheld camera and stick with my Canon 60D. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch back over to more footage toward the back of, toward the end, when I ain't toward the end, but basically toward the end when I stop filming. So we're going to switch to that here in just a second and continue on, and you'll see how it spreads even more. Okay, so we switched back over to the other footage. As you can see now, it's later on. The fire had spread, had finally jumped over to the back part, to the right, which is the back part. Now it burns there for quite a long time. During this time there were, I don't want to say explosions, but there was about 5 or 6 not real loud bangs. It didn't, someone said they were propane tanks, but I'm assuming a propane tank might be a bigger explosion. I don't know. I've never been around a propane tank when it's exploded. As far as propane tanks, as far as I know, they would have been on the forklifts inside the warehouse, and the warehouse did not catch on fire. Despite the rumors that were going around at the time, you couldn't see the warehouse. It was not on fire. I looked this morning and seen the damage that was done to it. But you can see here, this clip is actually a really, really long clip. I don't know if I should shorten it up or edit it up, but it's a really long clip. I mean, you can sit here and watch this fire. Well, I'm looking at the timeline, and it's ending at about 27 minutes with all of this together. So I think what I'll do is I'll edit this, and you'll see some other footage in there as this is spreading around. But the fire departments did a really good job. Several fire departments came into town to help out. You got to remember, well, you probably don't know this, but this is what we call a village, and neighboring fire departments come to help. And I wish I'd have got footage of the ladder truck last night, and I didn't do it. It was really neat. They were up pretty high, had the spotlights down, and were spraying down on it, even though, you know, getting the rest of it out. So it was but it really didn't have too far to spread. They did save the house next to the church. There really wasn't too much for it to go. There's a set of woods back behind the warehouse. If the warehouse would have caught on, I imagine, you know, it's possibly it could have jumped to the woods. You know, it's not a big set of woods. I used to play up there when I was little. We call it Grassy Hill. But there's really not too much to catch on fire around there. There is a house to the right-hand side. There's several houses right there to the right-hand side by that water tower. But for it to jump over there, it would have had to take a pretty good leap somehow, and it just didn't seem to be that intense. Even though it does look pretty intense, it didn't seem to be that intense to where it would have warranted you know, getting those people out of there or anything, because like I said, it's a pretty good distance. The smoke, there was never any danger. The wind, there was no wind, so it rose straight up. I mean, if that would have blown anywhere near me, I'd have been hightailing it out of there. I wouldn't have been standing around there checking it out. There were a lot of people standing around. They did back them off because the power lines did drop. But there didn't seem to be, the only thing that I seen that could have possibly been a danger, since these containers came from, I don't know where, you know, multiple places. You don't know if there's anything left inside of them, which does happen. That could have been flammable or anything like that. I mean, that's possible with the small, I'm going to say explosions, but I really don't know. What the sound actually sounded like was if you took a skid bottom, a wooden pallet, and slammed that thing on the ground as hard as you could. And that smack, that's kind of what it reminded me of. I don't know what it was. And then, like I said, it happened about 5-6 times throughout this that I was watching it. I don't know if it happened anymore. Obviously it wasn't that loud because I didn't hear it in my apartment. I heard it when I had my window open and was watching over there, or when I was outside. So, but I do have some footage of it even farther down. Excuse me. And so I think what we'll do is we'll go to that and see what we can see on that one. Okay, now as you can see here, it had spread toward the back there. There was a last group of plastic containers, knockdowns, that had caught on fire. And I know you can't see it in this shot right here, but there are some firemen that are basically about in the middle of the screen down below, spraying in. I know you can't really see it too good. It should be zooming in here in a few minutes or whatever. And I can see right where they're at. But it had spread to that last part, and from there it then after that it ended. But I didn't, and I ended the video just a little bit, just a few minutes from now on this, but I just wanted to get this last part. Now, if you look in the middle there, you can see the nozzle, the gentleman spraying in the middle there. And off to the right, that is the last part. You see that billowing black smoke. All the white smoke is basically where everything is burned down, and now it's starting to burn out, and they're putting it out. But to the right there, you'll see the billowing black smoke. That's the last of the containers. There was actually a transformer over there, and I didn't know if I know how loud those things are when they go off. I mean, they're pretty loud. Now I was waiting for that to happen. That's why I fired up my camera again, because I thought, wow, if that thing goes, that'd be some great stuff to get. As long as nobody gets hurt. While I was watching those guys down there, man, I was hoping nobody get hurt. Because those containers were stacked up pretty far, but they stayed a good distance back and were spraying it. I don't think I even have footage. I wish I'd have got that footage now of the ladder truck and everything, because it was pretty neat looking the way they had the spotlights going down through there and spraying it down. But anyways, this is what my night was like. Unlike those poor guys down there fighting this, like I said, this is a village, and they were using a lot of water. I don't know how many fire departments came in to help. I heard, but I don't know. It was reported that there were 10, but to be honest with you, I don't know. Now there's the gentleman right there spraying it down. Sorry about the footage. I know it's really crappy. You got two guys on the hose, and another guy right there. I imagine directing them. I really don't know, because I'm not a firefighter. But you can see they're communicating there, and yep, he's directing them where to get. It's got to be kind of intense. I know that had to be hot for those guys. And you got to understand too that this fire department we have here, it's all volunteer. It's not a regular job for them or anything like in your bigger cities. This is all volunteer. Matter of fact, majority of the towns around us, it's a volunteer fire department. These guys volunteer their time and to do this stuff to help protect people, and you got to applaud them for that. Always have to, because they're doing something that isn't a career for them. And it's all volunteer. So what I'm going to do is leave this play out, and it'll be about what, 15, 16, maybe 16 minutes of footage here. I wish I'd have got better footage. I should have stayed on that other camera. Sorry I didn't, but we'll see how this renders out, and hopefully it renders out really good. How I'm doing this is I'm playing the footage, and I'm editing and using action to do my voice recording as I watch this. Like I said, I took out the sound that was in the footage because of some of the things that were said. You know, I don't want people to get in trouble or anything like that, or, you know, people are smart asses, and, you know, some people say things, some people don't, you know, but everybody's got their own opinion, you know. It's like, what's that saying? Hell is it? Something about opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one. I love that saying. Anyways, again, I'm sorry for the crappy footage and the crappy camera, and I'd have brought out my tripod if I'd have thought about it, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, I guess. Anyways, I guess I'll leave it at that, and I think I'll end this video here. Anyways, that was my night. Watching the fire right beside me. I'm upstairs in my apartment watching it right now. That's what this footage is right here. I should have been up there filming it the whole time. I'd have got better footage, but you know, people they're like moths to a flame. They go right to it. And so I went down there and was checking it out. Of course, you know, got to talk to some other people. Anyways, you all stay safe, and hopefully I'll have some other video up of Sheriff Jake Westgate. I don't know. We'll see what we have planned. Anyways, you all stay safe and take care.